Yep.
All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the first annual Racers News Network Live Awards. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to really get a chuckle out of this. We have a couple of people that are going to come up first because they have baby commitments, class commitments. But the PDs, to give you a brief history, it started out as kind of a joke about probably 6 months ago, because a bunch of people were on Facebook and on a bunch of the racing websites whining about participation trophies. So me and Pete kind of took off running with it and decided we were going to have some fun. And the PD Awards were born. And
Did we be honest? You took off running with it.
We did. Don't lie.
I just kind of sat back and said, what?
You were a willing participant. So we have a great group of people that are joining us this evening. They were all told that they are going to be presenters tonight. Well, we lied to you.
No, not you.
Yeah. No, not me. So we have chosen certain categories, and everybody that is here tonight has won one of these cute little PD award trophies.
And a free copy of Pictionary, because that's what the screen looks like.
Yeah, pretty much. So as you can see, one of us has dressed, because clothes make the man, you dress for success. And so everybody that's here tonight, did we get you?
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
All right.
What was going on?
Yay for us, Pete. So I asked him the other day, I said, how many people have called you or messaged you and said, all right, what's he up to? And he's like, nobody.
Nope. Because they all know you're up to no good, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah. It's who I am and it's what I do. So I think we will get started, like I said, with the young lady that has a 5 months old now?
She is 5 months on Sunday.
5 months on Sunday. Hey,
You're good.
Remember.
I barely know.
So Taylor Nobile, a good friend of our show, always has a positive attitude, has a great personality, and we've always, where'd he go? Oh, he's down there. All right, has a great personality. So one of the categories that we came up with. Oh, and also this is presented by Dewzen, by the way, in case everybody can't see that, and I'm an idiot and forgot to say that in the beginning. But presented by Dewzen, the Best Personality Award goes to the one and only Taylor Nobile.
Thank you.
I will be shipping these, by the way. So
Perfect.
Also, Taylor messaged me the other day and asked if she could talk about her sponsors for 2023. So Taylor, do you have your victory speech ready?
For what?
Oh my God. You're what?
For this? I don't know. I'm very thankful that you guys think of me as a great personality. I try to be as positive and happy as I can. That's my victory speech. I'm not good at on-the-spot speeches.
Why we have you here, just to put you under pressure.
Yeah.
I don't like
And see,
pressure.
then we get to see that smile, and it almost looks like your cheeks are turning red a little bit.
I'm gonna do it like this.
There you go. Taylor, you've helped us out on the show a lot. And this is basically a gathering of people that have helped us, promoted the show, dealt with the goofiness and the funniness, and gave us input on how to be better. So we got all you guys together because we appreciate you all. And this is just kind of our way of explaining what you guys do for us. And you know that I've always been a fan of yours, your family. And you know, you're a great ambassador for the sport, and just kind of our way of saying thank you for doing what you do, even when you don't think you're doing anything.
Well, thank you. Your show has definitely helped me promote my sponsors and gotten people involved in racing. And we don't get a lot of like news opportunities to like put companies out there. And I know that this has been a big reason why people have stayed with me, because they like that this is a way that we can talk to people and share their company and their stories. So without you guys, I would have a little bit of a harder time finding sponsors, because I wouldn't be able to say I'm on this show ever.
Well, you know that you're welcome to come back whenever you want, when you have something to promote or announce.
Thank you.
You know, if you have another baby, whatever, we're here.
Not yet. I have no baby, no second baby anytime soon. I'm good with the one I have.
So congratulations, Taylor.
Thank you.
I will be in touch with you sometime
Perfect.
to get your address, and I'll ship it out to you.
Thank you for the award. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Congratulations.
Just so everybody knows, when you get this, you have to take a picture. If you can't buy your race car, buy something racing related, and send it to us so we can put it out.
And I'm sure all the big wallies are going to get jealous when you slide them aside to put that one right in the middle.
Yeah, to put that 4.5-inch tall trophy right in front of them.
It can go right in. It can go right in our little office next to Vincent's one.
Perfect.
Divisional.
Yeah,
Tell Vincent if he plays his cards right, maybe he could qualify for one next year. We'll see.
I'll let him know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Taylor.
Bye.
Thank you, Taylor.
See you, Taylor.
All right, so our next award goes to, where is he? There he is. Rhodes, unmute yourself. There you go. So as everybody knows, and it was one of the things that we talked a lot about last year, the accident involving Will Monroe at Cecil County. A lot of people don't necessarily think about the safety teams that are involved with stuff until they need them. And to say that the Division I safety team was needed in that occasion would be pretty much the understatement of the next decade. Steve is the one that I know personally from NHRA Division I Safety Safari. So I invited him on to take this award for the entire Division I safety team on their behalf. Steve, are you?
All right, we greatly appreciate that, and I will be sure to get the gang together and get a photo of everyone.
Awesome. So
the good thing about this show is everyone that's involved with it from all different aspects realize what you guys do and how important you guys are to being there to protect us. And again, kind of like I said with Taylor, this is our very small way of just letting you know how much we appreciate you, your crew, and what you guys do. And we might not always be at the tip of our tongue, but every pass that we make down the track, we definitely feel a little safer because we know that you guys are on standby for us all the time.
That's good. We just hope that everybody knows that there's a lot of time and effort that goes into making sure that everyone is safe when they go down the track. Many of us spend hours in the off season doing training. I myself, since January 1st, have been committed to 200 plus hours of fire and rescue training that will wrap up sometime the end of March, hopefully. I had to duck out of one of the classes tonight to be with you all. So the group continues to train and continues to learn new technology. We're now fighting the battery issues with electric cars. So that should get interesting as we move forward and dealing with things like that. But one thing everybody should be aware of with the D1 team is that everybody is well trained. We all get along great. And a lot of times we can handle an incident without even having to talk to each other. Everybody just knows what their job is and we get it done. And hopefully none of you ever need our services.
Hopefully we don't, but it's good to know you're there if we do, buddy.
And hopefully we'll all be around this season. We'll see.
All right, Steve, go ahead and head back into your class, my friend. Thank you for coming out and hanging out for a few minutes.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for the award. I'll make sure that everyone knows about it on Saturday at the banquet.
Very
Awesome.
good. I'll be in touch with you, Steve.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
Take care.
All right, have a great night, Steve.
Yep.
See
You
you,
too.
Steve.
See ya.
All right. Pete,
Okay,
why
so
don't you-
we got those two out of the way because they had prior engagements and stuff to do. But any of you guys that get your award, please, you don't feel obligated to leave. If you want to stick around and make fun of the other people getting awards, we encourage that.
especially if it's Wayne.
Or Tanya up in the corner there, you can make fun of him.
Oh, shoot, I never changed that.
Yeah, your name. Yeah, you didn't change
Oh,
your
an
name.
idiot. That's all right. We've already established that.
So,
All right, Pete, why
Wayne,
don't you-
I mean, you think this is easy, right?
Yeah.
All right, who's
All right,
next?
Pete. Why don't you take the next one?
I don't even, I shared, so I don't even have the list. So you just keep going and I'll make fun of you.
All right. So it was 2 years ago that Division One had two people in the 30 under 30. And one of the people is still, well, he's next to me. He's to my left. Anybody that follows Billy on Facebook, he's a wealth of knowledge about the past, the present, and maybe even a little bit of the future, as far as trivia and history and just racing knowledge in general. And on top of that, he is also a employee of Maple Grove Dragway. So with being nominated as a 30 under 30 2 years ago, and just being a really cool guy and a great personality and a great representative for Division One and for NHRA and for drag racing, we have our track employee of the year, and that goes to Billy Kleinsman.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. I'm going to keep this speech short and sweet because I really don't like public speaking, and I know you got. I'm not going to turn this into a John Force speech. I promise. If you would have asked me going on 12 years ago, everything that I've accomplished in this industry and the friendships I've made along the way, I would have said you're going to be joking me. To be a part of the great staff of Maple Grove Raceway and to be friends with so many people from all over the country and to be friends with my heroes means so much to me. Along the way, I've learned from some of the absolute best people in the motorsports industry who have made me the person I am today. That goes from Bull and Time Slips to John Hoffert to Bruce Wilson and Tech, to my beloved guardian angel, Mark Carey in the staging lanes, to Rob Keister, who has helped me in race control, along with Trisha Gockley and so many others, Jody Moan for being a good mentor of me when I was learning the computer this past season. All of these individuals have made me who I am today, and for that I am forever thankful for your gratitude and service for helping me become the person that I am today, and for your love and support for the sport that we all love. And to all the people that support me along the way, from all my fact checking and stuff, even when I may have not had stats that were correct or stuff, thank you all for reaching out to me to get the correct information. And I look forward to continuing to preserve and honor your accomplishments for many years to come and for future generations. And even though I didn't dress up as good as Chris, I must say, being a polo makes the man. And for that, I am forever thankful for this award from both you, Chris, and from Pete. And with that, I'm looking forward to the start of the 2023 season, and I look forward to seeing everyone in Victory Lane this year.
Very cool. Excellent job, Billy. That was a great speech. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
So next year we're going to have a new category, and it's going to be best award acceptance speech.
There we go.
If we get a repeat winner here.
Now, Billy, you can't run off yet because we're not quite done with you.
Okay.
So, as everybody knows, Maple Grove was purchased. Pete, why don't you dive into that a little bit?
Yeah. So, in a day and age where we're worried about tracks closing, owners putting in the bare minimum to get by, we were worried about losing Maple Grove. And it turns out that a family of drag racers purchased the track. And not only did they purchase the track, but they proceeded to put a boatload of money and a boatload of talent behind the scenes, and made a track that we present this award for the most improved of the year. And Billy, we would be honored if you accepted this award on behalf of Maple Grove Raceway.
Absolutely. On behalf of everyone at the staff of Maple Grove Raceway, from Shane, the general manager, to Sarah, the communications director, to everyone from tech, staging, all the way down to time slips to Bill Buchanan, or as we call him, Eagle Eyes, who directs all of our racers off of the end of the track. And we also thank each and every single one of you, all the racers that have supported us and the fans during this transition time. We are possibly going to be the best track within the next 5 years. We have a huge 5-year plan that we're going to be putting into place, and we look forward to bringing some new life into the track that we all love so much. And on behalf of me and the Koretsky family and the entire staff of Maple Grove Raceway, from the racers to the fans that have continued to support us over the years, thank you all. You are the reason that we do this. We don't do it to make money. We do this because we love the sport. We love our racers. We love the fans. And we want to give you guys the best experience in all of sports. And we look forward to continuing this wonderful relationship that we have with everybody for future generations to come. Thank you all.
Great job again, Billy.
Can we just have Billy give everybody speeches?
Yeah. On behalf of the next award, we're going to give it to Billy.
Billy, I think you found a set on like your 47th career as a professional speechwriter.
Well, I don't know about that. Maybe I can look into that if the racing ever don't work out, or if the bowling ever don't work out. Yep.
All right. Awesome. Let's see. Moving on. Everybody knows that the Mid-Atlantic .90 Association is probably one of the strongest series going on the East Coast. There's been rough times when Rob took it over. Things were not beautiful by any stretch of the imagination. And I think he'll nod his head in agreement on that one. Yeah. But over the past few years, the series has seen a huge expansion, has one of the premier events, I think, in the Mid-Atlantic Northeast region with the Uncle Buck's pig roast, and has a huge amount of growth coming up starting in 2023. Pete, again, why don't you dive into that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's anyone who is a regular to the show heard us sing Rob's praises before. He is all about the sportsman, the grassroots racer, and everything that he does in his program reflects that. He doesn't plan an event, in my opinion. He doesn't plan an event or a weekend without taking the consideration of the racers to heart, figuring out what they want, getting their feedback. If it comes to a single race, a point series, a special event, I mean, it's constant feedback that he's getting so that he could plan things out and make every experience to the best of his ability. And we definitely appreciate you, probably more than we could ever convey. And I could tell you firsthand that it's not just Rob and I that appreciate you. Anyone that's participated in your series, anyone that has joined your point series, attended one of your events, I guarantee you they all feel the same way. And much in the same way that we love Billy for what he does for the sport, we feel the exact same way for you. Thank you for what you do in the Sportsman Racers. And we look forward to watching the .90 series grow even more.
So with that being said, we'd like to present Rob Keister with Association Promoter of the Year.
Thank you, guys. Definitely want to thank Dewzen for being the title sponsor of the first PD Awards. Also Pete with Straight Line Performance. You know, we know as an association president, sponsorship is a huge thing to keep things rolling, keep the lights on, as I like to say. No matter what, you know, what praise I do get, it's all for the racers. I mean, you could plan racing as much as you want to plan and make things the way you want to, you know, it all comes down on a piece of paper. It's like they say, you know, with a sports game is that, you know, they don't play the games on a piece of paper because, you know, things change. And, you know, without racers actually showing up and coming to an event, there's no way in the world that you can make it happen. There's no way in the world without sponsors and supporters each and every race, each and every year. Really excited on what we are planning on for 2023 with the expansion of the junior dragsters being added to the .90 series. I feel like the youth of our sport needs to be showcased, and also with them being showcased is seeing some other ways that they can get into the sport, rather through .90 racing, top sportsman racing, top dragster racing, and to be able to grow the sport that we all love. And you know, I saw a gentleman that's on here also, Mr. Rich Prizer, is come on board as one of our title sponsors for the junior dragsters. So I'm really you know, thankful to Rich for coming on board. You know, and really excited to expand the .90 series, me and Dana and Ashley, to expand it to where we're going to expand it. Bring the juniors on board, bring the top dragster, top sportsman series together. And then, of course, you know, have the third annual Dave Stein race at Maple Grove, which will be giving away some pretty hefty money for the sportsman racers. You know, in the world of big money bracket racing going on now, and it seems like there's one every single weekend, or there's one at every other racetrack. You know, we're kind of doing our own thing and having our, you know, the one and only event. It's big money for the .90 racers, top dragster racers, junior racers and stuff. So I'm excited for 2023, and I appreciate, you know, like Taylor said, you know, Pete and Chris for everything you guys do for the sportsman racers, for, you know, shining a light on us when we don't really get that light shined on us for a lot of the times. And appreciate everything you guys do, and appreciate you giving, you know, me the time to you know, come on your show and you know, focus on the sponsors, focus on our racers, and appreciate it. So thank you very much for the award.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Rob.
All right. Next up, is probably one of the most talked about events over the past year and a half, and it happens at Lebanon Valley Dragway. It used to be held at a different track and it's moved to Lebanon Valley now. Of course, I'm talking about what was the Dewzen 10Ks last year has expanded to the triple 10Ks this year. And the two gentlemen that are responsible for this event, I'd actually like Wayne, if you wouldn't mind, to talk a little bit about what it's like having an event like that at your facility.
Well, we've tried having big dollar races before at Lebanon Valley, and it just seems like that wasn't our niche. Obviously, if you don't have the proper sponsors or the people backing to do a race, you'll never be able to get or pull a race off. So when Vince reached out to me a couple of years ago, we were unable to come up with a date, and we said, "Oh, we'll worry about it next year." And we were able to lock it in last year, and it was a very successful race. And we had talked about making it bigger, and that's why we were going the 3 10Ks to win this year, with also an event on that Thursday night, a low rollers race, just to kind of get stuff kicked off. But without Gary and Vince behind it, it would have never happened.
Very cool. Gentlemen, Vince and Gary, why don't you guys talk a little bit about your transition to Lebanon Valley and your race last year and what it's going to be like this year?
Vince.
Just unmute yourself, Vince. Top, bottom left.
I know I could say I was just glad Wayne called me Gary and not Mr. Butterworth. So
Yeah, I was getting there, but I didn't want to start off that way.
And I was figuring that you were going to call him that.
I was laying into it nice and easy.
well, like I've said at the last show, you can call me whatever you want, as long as we can come back every year. Go ahead, Vince. Tell them all the great stuff.
I mean, obviously, none of us would not be able to happen. Hey, stop. Without Wayne giving us this opportunity to even have it there. So, I mean, without Wayne, none of this would have ever been possible. And his staff went above and beyond everything that we expected. The car count was above and beyond what I expected. And I only expect it to grow from there.
Very cool. Pete, go ahead.
Well, so when we had Gary on about a month ago to talk about the event coming up and what it was like last year, I had mentioned at some point during the show that to me this year feels like more people are excited about racing. With the races coming up and Rob with his Dot 90 series and the Stein race and Lebanon Valley with the Dewzen triple 10s. It just, to me, it feels like it's just a little more electric this year than in years past. I personally have been way more excited about this coming year than I have been in years past. And it's because of you guys. It's because of the effort that you guys put on to make these shows that make racing look really attractive. A fun event to go to. Rob, same thing for you. You bust your butt with the Stein race, along with all the other races. The triple 10s coming up at Lebanon Valley. I mean, this is all stuff that most racers look forward to. And we owe it to you guys because we know you're not doing it to make millions of dollars.
What?
You guys really put your butts on the line when it comes to this stuff. You hustle. I don't know all the inner workings of promoting a race. I know just enough to know that it's got to be a humongous pain in the ass, and you're also taking a pretty big chance. So, I mean, with that being said, thank you from us, and I know all the other racers that are watching to feel the same way. We appreciate the effort, and thank you for making it fun.
So with that being said, Gary and Vince, we'd like to present you with the special event of the year, the Dewzen 10Ks.
Wow.
Thank you.
Who knew? Thank you very much. Thank you, Wayne, and everybody. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And like I've said throughout the show, I'll be in touch to get this week to get addresses, to get these sent out to you. So, all right.
And Pete, we're just hoping that you actually, when you leave the line on the fourth run, there will be cheering going on from everywhere because you've accomplished more than you did the year before.
I did make 3 passes, in all fairness.
If
They
he
weren't
makes
terribly
it,
fast
if
passes,
he makes
but
it through all
I
3
did make
days,
3.
then
I
we'll
even
have
made it down the return road twice. The last one, not so much.
And before I know it, you and Richie were already in the bar at ATCO. So
Yeah, amen. Of course, that's even when the car's running good. It doesn't matter. So,
All right. Next up, we got to talk about the man. Of course, the man being Wayne Del Monte. He has one of the strongest bracket programs in the Northeast in Division One, and possibly in the country. Who knows? Has this great event, the Dewzen Triple 10Ks, and just has a really great track and has done a lot over the years to make just small, subtle improvements, not only to the facilities, to the grounds, but to the program as well. And I've never heard a bad word about Wayne. He may be a little bit of a hard ass, but he's a hard ass for a reason because he's got to be.
clearly, he never talked to me about you, Wayne.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Well, I'm sucking up because I'm gonna need something at some point. You know what I mean? But
He didn't talk to the guy who owned that motorhome either that left it there.
I did not burn that motorhome. Yeah.
But in all seriousness, Wayne runs one of the best tracks in the Northeast, without a doubt about it. He runs it with an iron fist, which is not a bad thing, and just has all around a great program. And Pete, again, why don't you chime in?
So, I've always been a Wayne fan, even when we butted heads. Although I got to tell you, I don't think we've really butted heads much in the past. More like question and answers when something's going on and figuring stuff out. I will tell you that the one thing I love the most about Wayne is his accessibility. When you need him, I mean, from, hey, what's the weather look like? You think we're going to get this thing off? To, an event, a question about parking. I mean, he's always accessible. And it makes you feel like you're part of the family when you're able to talk to someone that's in charge of running the show, and you could just have a normal conversation with him, and you don't feel like you're above him or below him. Of course, we're both about 5'2", so most people are above us anyway. But it's a hometown feel, a home track feel. Lebanon Valley will always be my home track. And I couldn't think of anyone that I'd rather have run it than you. Hats off for what you do on your week to week with your bracket program, the shows, the people that you attract. You rock it, and we're proud to name you track manager of the year.
Oh, thanks. Didn't expect that one, that's for sure.
Well, there's
So,
only
no, I
like
mean-
to choose from, Wayne. So
So I mean, it's definitely a learning experience to take over a racetrack that really needed help. And I think me coming right out of a race car and jumping into a management role really played a big part in that, because I understood both parts. I definitely knew what the racing was about, and I knew what the racers needed or wanted for the most part. And I figured out the whole part of making it work for a profit. I'm very lucky, and not many tracks can say that they're family owned since the beginning. And Howard Commander is my strong backbone back there. No matter what it is, I just do it. And he backs me up 100%. He may be a little mad about some, I might spend some money he might not like, but in the long run, it's never about the money with Howard. It's you do what you feel is right. And that's what I've always done on a week to week, basis. Our bracket program is very strong. There's not a Sunday when we're pushing 300 cars on a Sunday for a bracket program, which anybody knows it's tough to get 300 cars in one day. But we do it. And I got a great staff that's very loyal to the racers, to the track, and myself. So I'm thankful for that. And I am thankful that you guys recognize me for that.
Wayne, just to add to what we were talking about, you commend Howard because he lets you do what you need to do to have a successful program. I don't know Howard well, but I know him well enough to know that if he didn't trust you and you weren't really good at what you did, you would not have that free reign to do what you have to do. So you commend him for his trust in you, but in my opinion, you've definitely earned that trust.
Yep. And that was, when I took over the full-time job, I don't even know when it was, 12, 15 years ago, something like that. I told him the first day, I says, I'm going to change the locks on you and you're never going to come in my tower and tell me how to run a race. And he's respected me 100% since that day and has never, ever come in my tower and told me how to run that facility. And that goes a long way. I mean, when you're an owner or something and you put your trust in somebody to do the right thing, I mean, he put his trust in me and God forbid, I haven't let him down yet.
Good stuff.
Very cool. Before we go to the next award, there is a comment for you, Wayne, and it's from Jasmine. She simply said,
Oh boy.
I have some good words for you.
I'm just married, just so she knows it offhand,
Oh God.
What was her question anyways?
No, she just said, I have some good words for Wayne. That's
No,
all she
Jasmine's
said.
great kid.
All right. Moving on to our next award. He is not here. I tried to make contact with him. I had no luck. I know I sucked Jerron Settles on it to try and make contact with him, and he's testing his pro stock motorcycle in Gainesville. He wasn't 100% sure if he'd be free tonight or not, but we did an interview last year with pro stock motorcycle racer Steve Johnson. And if you haven't seen that interview, I highly recommend you go on our YouTube channel and watch it because the guy is an absolute riot. They talk about squirrel, people are squirrels. He's like 47 squirrels in a freaking cage about the size of a wine box, going all over the place. But the guy was an absolute riot. So with that being said, again, he's not here. We'll figure out how to get it to him. Presented to Steve Johnson, the interview of the year on Racers News Network. And this one, I pass off to Pete. Rich, just so you know, anything that he says, I have nothing to do with.
It's all lies.
It is. That's what if it comes out of Pete's mouth, it's all lies. So I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to look at you with my tuxedo t-shirt and be quiet.
So we came up with an idea to run a poll for sponsor of the year. And we let people nominate sponsors. So it wasn't just a matter of Chris or I putting up one or two sponsors that we love, like Dewzen, Lucas Oil, so on and so forth. We left it wide open. We let people vote. And my buddy Rich won sponsor of the year. And it was a pretty convincing victory, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was like 22 or 23%.
Yeah, he did all right. So here's the funny thing about him winning. Rich hates compliments. It makes him feel awkward. It usually makes him blush. And frankly, he would rather have you call him an asshole than tell him that he did something good. So I'm going to spend the rest of this time talking about how awesome he is. Okay. So, you know, I'm trying to, I'm not a very good speech writer. I'm much better at shooting from the hip. And I've been thinking about, all right, what am I going to say about this knucklehead to make him feel really uncomfortable? And I think back, and Wayne will appreciate this, because I really appreciate people who, through no selfishness of their own, impact our sport and what we love. Okay. The gentleman that planned the triple tens, Vincent, Gary, Billy, with all the stuff that you do, Wayne, you know, we all know that if you got paid by the actual hour, you make about 3 cents an hour. I think back in my first experience of saying, holy crap, we're really lucky to have someone in this sport, is when Vinny Barletta took over Lebanon Valley. And I remember after a couple of years of him making improvements, pulling into Lebanon Valley and unloading my car and looking around and saying, you know, we're just lucky to have this guy. He's not here to try and turn a profit. He really, really cares about the sport. We're lucky that he decided to settle here at Lebanon Valley, and he made a big difference. Thinking about that, the next time I got that feeling was right before COVID at ATCO, when they called junior dragsters to the lanes. And I made Mr. Uncomfortable over here a comment, and he was a very big part of getting junior dragsters at divisionals, not only with effort, but with financial backing. And Rich, I don't know if you remember this or not, but you and I were on a golf cart, and all the junior dragsters were in the lanes, and it filled up a lot of space in the ATCO pits. And I said to him, do you realize that, like, you were instrumental in making this happen? And then he would, like, turn his head and walk away from me and probably call me a jerk because I gave him a compliment. But it's not very often that you come across someone who just wants to make something better with no recognition for themselves. And that is definitely Rich. And I've dealt with Rich at the races. I've dealt with him with sponsorship. I've worked on his cars. And the only thing he is better at sponsoring and being a customer is being a true friend. And for that, we'd like to nominate or award Rich with Sponsor of the Year. Thank you for all that you do for the sport that we all love.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Now, if Billy can just say a couple of words.
Bill, you got a speech all written for Rich?
Well,
If you want,
I appreciate it. For 2023, I'll be sponsoring not only the Lucas Oil Series again, but also my home track, ATCO. I sponsor the Junior Series at ATCO as well, the Point Series there. And as Rob said, I'll be participating and sponsoring the Junior Series within his series. So we got a lot going on for all the juniors. I do know, you know, all the juniors, they go from the junior dragsters onto the big cars. And when the juniors come up for qualifying first thing in the morning, even though I run comp eliminator and I can sleep till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I still get up and, you know, go up there and see how everybody's running. So it is enjoyable. And thank you, everyone.
You're very welcome, Rich.
Appreciate it.
And like Pete said, the key thing is that the people voted for you, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it cost me a lot of money to get them to vote too, so
It did.
I would appreciate a PayPal, buddy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I knew it couldn't be all friends because I have one who has no friends.
You know,
he said he'll buy you all the drinks at ACO.
there you go. Hey guys, and I wish the other people were still here, but hopefully they'll be able to tune in and listen to this. We all know that Powerball is about $5 bajillion tonight, and you always have fun fantasizing what you would do if you hit, right? So I'm thinking to myself, if I hit Powerball, I would want to buy a racetrack. And then I'm thinking to myself, all right, who would I get to work there with? And then you think to yourself, like, who would you want to get to work at the racetrack, right? And no, not you. But right, like you look at Billy and you say, like, what an ambassador for the track, right? He's on social media all the time. He's all about Maple Grove, right? He's all in when it comes to Maple Grove. Then you think about Rob with the promoting his series, and you think about Wayne, the way he runs Lebanon Valley, and Rich with sponsorship, and then you know, Vincent and Gary, and you know, the way they put on the big race. And it's like everything that I would ever want in a racetrack was all right here on this screen. And that's a testament to you guys, right? There's a reason why you're here. I mean, granted, we could put anyone in this spot, whatever, but we picked you guys, not because we're all friends or we joke around, because you guys make it happen in the sport that we love. I mean, I just don't know what else to say. You guys have all earned every accolade that you've ever gotten in the sport. Nothing was handed to you. You went above and beyond. You did your thing, and that's the reason why you're here. So thank you for all that you do.
Like the perfect storm, Pete. And if you do win, we're coming to look for you tomorrow. We all want triple-digit salaries.
Right.
Triple. Are you counting just after the decimal point, or could we go before it too? Because listen, not only is Rich a good sponsor, but he's really good with money too. So he'd probably be in charge of finances, just so you know.
Pete would
to
disappear
piggyback on
to
what
a
you
gated community.
Yeah.
to piggyback on what you said, Pete, and I, you know, have to say it for everybody, or was we're very blessed here in the Northeast to have the type of talent that we do have, between association, you know, people, Billy, and the staff at Maple Grove. Wayne, you know, I've been to Lebanon Valley a couple times. Unfortunately, it's about an 8-hour drive for me. So, you know, what I see him do and what you guys talk about on your show, what Vince and Gary have done with their, you know, promotion of their events, the sponsors, you know, that, you know, between Dewzen and Straight Line, you know, you guys, Taylor being a personality, and, you know, Steve with, you know, being for Division One, you know, the guys that you had on tonight. I mean, you could easily to have another Petey award next week and probably fill it back up with other people that are definitely worthwhile of that, because here in the Northeast, I mean, I get calls all the time from fellow racers who live out west, and they're like, I wish we could do what you do out here out there on the Northeast. Teach us how to do it. But they say, you know, like they say, like, we're so blessed here. We're, you know, especially me, I have 4 racetracks that are within 2-3 hours of my house. So I'm lucky to have that. But like people out west are like, we can never do a .90 series or a series similar to yours because the next closest racetrack is 5 hours away. And we're not going to draw racers from that area to come down and run. You know, we're barely, if we're lucky, we get them to come down for a division or a national event. And so, you know, we have to kind of, you know, when we like I tell a lot of people is, instead of going on Facebook and bashing a racetrack because the fact is that they didn't do something right, or, you know, they didn't turn the lights on at 6 o'clock when it was dusk out, or they didn't put, you know, they cut the glue the wrong way, or, you know, instead of going on there and bitching and complaining about a racetrack, just be glad that, you know what, they're still opening up the gates and they're still turning on the lights for us racers to do what we love to do, and, you know, make it a hobby, you know. And that's really that there's people still passionate enough to have a .90 series, to have a race like Vince and Gary's, still be a track manager like Wayne, do everything that Billy does. And that's where we need to, as, people need to sit back and don't put that bashing, I literally saw a post tonight where somebody was bashing Maple Grove because they might not have a banquet. Because I guess they were, a little short on selling tickets. And it was like, well, the track owner should reach into his pocket and pay for the banquet because whatever. And I'm like, seriously? Like,
Yeah, like Maple Grove needs to reach into their pocket any more than they have this year, right?
It's like, you should be just grateful that, the Koretsky family stepped up to buy the racetrack to actually still make it a racetrack, because it could be all bulldozed and be houses or cement plant or whatever, whatever. I mean, but it just baffles my mind, just some of the comments that are just made by people. And we should be lucky that we have the passionate people that we do have. I mean, a quick Rich story was, when I announced the Junior Dragster Series, Rich, 5 minutes after I announced it, he was like, I want presenting sponsor. This is what I want to do. It wasn't even like, it was just, this is, it wasn't even like, hey, let's talk about it. It's like, this is what I'm doing. I want my logo on that presenting, on that deal. And this is, was, and, grateful for what Rich has done for my .90 series in previous years to the junior series that he's on board for this year. So, we should all everybody should all take a round of applause for everybody, that won an award tonight, will win an award next year at next year's PD Awards, and go on and, and have fun this year with the racing, in 2023.
One of the things that I said when talking about Wayne is how accessible he is. And one of the things that frustrates the hell out of me is when someone has an issue with something. All you guys are so easy to get in touch with, right? I'm sure Vincent and Gary take a lot of feedback for their races, what they did last year, what they could do to improve this year, right? Something going on with Maple Grove, you could reach out to Billy or a host of other people, Rob, Wayne, all the same. So for someone not to take the effort to reach out to someone when they have an issue and just get behind a keyboard and start typing away, that's why you people have seen me frustrated before on this show when talking about stuff like that. That's the reason why. If I tried to reach out to Wayne 25 times because I had an issue with the beams in my race car and he never got back to me or just blew me off, I'd be frustrated. But the one time I had an issue with the beams in my race car, I reached out to him and we went over a couple of things. And sure enough, in watching video, it turned out to be totally my car's fault. But he was there. He could have very easily said, you know what, Pete's a jerk. Screw him. His car's a turd. Yeah, you said that after, but yeah. But the point is, everyone is so willing to help and so willing to listen that if you don't take the time to try and improve the situation and your only goal is just to beat it into the ground, that's what's going to hurt the sport. So you guys really need to think, and when I say you guys, obviously I don't mean us, but people need to think before they just decide to get behind the keyboard and be an asshole.
One thing I realized about being a sponsor is I get to see the other side.
Yep.
I dealt with Dave and Division One. I deal with the owners of ATCO. During the divisional at Lebanon, I've dealt briefly with Wayne. It was a pleasure, but you have to have the right mindset to speak to Wayne, to speak to Dave, to speak to the owners of ATCO.
Right.
If you send yourself properly and do things the right way, they'll give you the right answer. But most of the time, racers come across the wrong way, and it's not a productive conversation to begin with. And that's what happens.
You should usually at least wait until the steam stops coming out of your ears before you approach anyone that you want to talk to.
So Pete, when you go back to that, and this is for all the racers that may be listening, there were many racers that might have been, we'll call it thorn in my side, okay? And they don't like the way something's being run or whatever. I invite them up to the tower and sit down with me and watch their races for an hour or two. And I've never had a racer leave that tower and not say, "Are you crazy for doing this job?" I would have thrown them all out of here. You know, and a lot of people don't realize, I mean, I don't go home at night. I'm an hour and a half from the racetrack. So I stay at the racetrack when I get up there on Friday morning till I go home on Sunday or Monday morning. And if there's ever a problem, say a Saturday test and tune, you got a problem, the track shut down and I'm there on the property. You want to burn some new tires in, or you had a training that didn't work that day, or something went wrong. You want to make a burnout and launch the car. I'm there. I've never told anybody no. Junior dragsters, I encourage them to come up on a Saturday night. When you need that little time with that new junior to get them acclimated to the starting line, that kid may need 15, 20 hits at the tree before he gets it right. I encourage them to come up on a Saturday night. That's what we're there for. And I'm lucky to be able to do that too, you know. But it's about the racers and the way they see what really happens at any racetrack, not just Lebanon Valley.
And that's why you notice. That's why you notice all the bottles behind Wayne in his
Better see my place at New York.
Only consumed from Tuesday to Thursday, though, right?
Listen, if you make a mistake, it's always forgivable with a jug.
Amen.
Or if he's on one of our live shows and he has the coffee cup,
Thank you.
then you know Wayne.
Rich, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
See you, Rich.
So, guys, this was our first annual award show. I still have trouble calling it the Petey's because it sounds goofy, but thank you. And again, it had nothing to do with Chris or I. It was just a matter of Chris and I wanted to thank you guys for what you do for the sport that we love. And I should have prepared a little better for this, but if I had a trophy, I would actually give it to my buddy over here. That's where you are on my screen. Yeah, him, the guy with the tuxedo shirt. I've told him before that because of him and his efforts, I've gotten to interview and talk to a bunch of amazing people. I've also gotten to talk and interview people that never in my wildest dreams that I think I would ever talk to. We've had pro category drivers. We've had regular sportsman drivers that I've just never spoken to, but always wanted to meet. People that I rub elbows with in Super Street, but never really had a chance to talk too much to them. All these things that I've been able to do that I really enjoy is because of Chris and his efforts. And for that, I am forever grateful, my friend.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was funny because I interviewed Bob Bender last night, and I've known Bob for 7 years now, and two of the people that called me literally called my house about 2.5 years ago and said, "All right, are you over it yet? It's time to get back to it. You know what you're doing. Let's do it." Pete was one, Bob was the other, and Pete said, "I'll come on board and I'll be your partner in this." And it's been a lot of fun. He keeps me somewhat regulated. He almost considers me, even though I'm older than him, to be one of his other kids because he always has to put the smack down on. Well, not always.
I'm about ready to claim him for a dependent, if that means anything.
Yeah, I had to send him my social every year because he forgets. But no, in all seriousness, it's a lot of fun. And people always ask me, how do you do these things? How do you get these people to come on? And even Pete's asked me that. And he's like, how did you pull that one off? I just asked. I'm a lot of things, but shy isn't one of them. And if I have something to say, I'll say it. And if I want to ask somebody something, I'll ask them that. And if they say no, then all right, well, hey, I tried. But it's a lot of fun. It can be a lot of work. Obviously with Pete being in school last year, it was a little tougher on me because I work much better having somebody to work with, being live, somebody to bounce stuff off of. But it's a lot of fun. And once I get kind of in my zone, I do all right. but it's a lot of fun having a co-host on with me, and I've hit it Rob up once in a while. When Pete's had stuff go on, obviously he's a school teacher, he owns his own business, so his schedule is anything but normal. And I obviously have way more time on my hands than he does. And but it's a lot of fun, and I got to meet a lot of people. Like I remember 6 or 7 years ago, I called Wayne and I said, "Hi, my name's Chris. I want to come take pictures at your track." And it was basically who the hell is Chris and why are you calling me? And I just explained who I was, what I wanted to do, and he's like, "All right, cool, come on over." He goes, "These are my rules. Follow my rules, you'll be fine. Don't follow my rules, that's the road out there." So, and it just kind of progressed from there. And I love going to Lebanon Valley. It's a 3-hour drive. There's no direct route from my house to get there, but I love going to Lebanon Valley, and it's a lot of fun. I've been to a couple of Rob's events, the Uncle Buck's Pig Roast down at Cecil County. That is one of my favorite events. So if I can only go to one event a year, that would be the one that I would go to, just because it's a blast. I'm looking forward to being involved with the triple 10Ks this August with Vince and Gary, and it's going to be a good time. So, and I've met a lot of people. I've learned a lot. I've learned how to keep myself under control a little bit better. But I appreciate it.
I've learned how to keep you under control a little
Well,
bit.
that too, yeah. So,
All right, guys, thank you very much for your time.
yep.
Thank you for all that you do. And we're looking forward to an outrageous 2023.
And for everybody that's still on, I will be in touch over the next few days to get addresses. So, thank you guys. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun doing this.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you. It was fun doing this.
Yeah.
And next year, Billy's writing everybody's speeches, so. Got that,
Yep,
Billy? You're writing everybody's speeches next year.
Yep, I'm already writing stuff down for next
Next
year.
year, Billy's going to know the winners a week beforehand, so he can write a bunch of speeches.
Yeah, he's gonna write all their speeches for them.
Yep.
So open your checkbooks, make it out to Billy.
That's it. Guys,
Billy,
thank you and have a good week.
all right,
Thank
we're
you,
just
guys.
gonna, before I sign off, I'm just gonna go back through our winners for this evening. Presented by Dewzen. Track Employee of the Year, the one and only Billy Kleinsfin. Association Promoter of the Year, Rob Keister from the Mid-Atlantic .90 Association. Special Event of the Year, one goes to Gary Simmons for the Dewzen 10Ks. The other one goes to his partner, Vince Mussolino, for the Dewzen 10Ks at Lebanon Valley, and they will be triple 10Ks this year. Track Manager of the Year, Wayne Del Monte. NHRA Division I Employee of the Year, the entire NHRA Division I safety team. Interview of the Year, Steve Johnson. Personality of the Year, Taylor Nobile. Most Improved Track, Maple Grove Dragway. And Sponsor of the Year, Prizer Racing and Rich Prizer. Thank you, everybody, for coming on and hanging out. Thank you to Dewzen for being the sponsor of this crazy little event. And I appreciate each and every one of you and everything that Dewzen has done to help us out. And here's to a great 2023. And we will be back next Tuesday night with JP Miller to talk about his events. And before we go, my stickers are in. They are $1.50 a piece. I will happily send them to you. I accept PayPal. I accept Venmo. Have a great night, everybody.